who have worked sustainably, with and within the means of nature, understood nature. It was the women excluded from economic choice and demographically representative policy models, which is why disaggregated statistics are vital for effective distribution of resources, one of the most basic being taxes, which is why we contributed to the European Women's Lobby Purple Pact paper and Feminist Economics Working Group on peace-based sustainable economics for people and planet. The women have bolstered this neoliberal, mafia-like cooked book, the latest model in slave states and resource theft. Voices of African women are a core part of UK WILPF and were instrumental in setting up WILPF chapters in African countries. Women in the UK, in the care economy, in unpaid labour, without which our economy couldn't function, have been remunerated by women's budgeting organisations to contribute 3 times as much to the UK economy as the finance sector. When extreme climate events happen, they are the most vulnerable, the least culpable, and the least helped. Even our 2-degree target was an act of supremacy. It has already flooded whole regions, disproportionately harming the women. Syria's war was in part due to an 8-year drought caused by climate change, pushing farmers from the north to stagnate in claustrophobic proximity with their historically adversarial other scapegoats and the great enemy of all, poverty, causing conflict amongst opportunists, a great migration, cyclical resource and environmental burden, scapegoatism, rising populism, and the coercion of women forcing illicit remittance work, and don't forget, the pipeline. The 92% of the world's water which is transboundary may lead to cooperation never before seen by necessity. However, bear in mind, water wars already exist, and women and girls walk, work and live and die by water disproportionately globally. And bear in mind that droughts and floods will increase, while mismanagement has been as much of an issue as lack, and interior water struggles will lead to interior conflicts increasingly. The predicted water deficit of 40% by 2040 and the movement of 700 million people means this is not just a climate issue, but as always, a resource one, predicted by the women and as always, borne by the women. Water is used for energy supply, for growing food, for pre- and postnatal care, for medical care. We visited at our last Congress in Ghana a pre-medical unit in Akuse. This is WILPF work. This is women on the ground. Interviewing women who have lived during and rebuilt post-conflict, one of the things they all had in common was this necessitated ability, intelligence and ingenuity around living within the means of the area for basic survival, especially water. Family first, woman last. If I were to show you a video, I won't, it's quite violent and bloody, from the Lebanese Revolution, amidst the tear gas, the bullets and fires, you would not see the young WILPF Lebanon woman standing behind me to my right, who had just been struck in the face for shouting at the preposterous, ironic contradiction, the offence of the army's presence as defender of Lebanon, who watched idly as the protest was destroyed and in flames, but did nothing. She is now, still as before, defending their valley, the Bizri Valley, against a World Bank-supported dam which will destroy the local environment, structurally risk the fault line that lies beneath, putting them at risk of an early earthquake, says the science, which the bank ignored. And instead of cheaply accessing the already present groundwater through wells, which won't give them much money, collecting polluted wastewater, an expensive industrial project not for the people, but for the contractors. This area, this mass industrial project, however, was protected by the military. The people were not, which is why WILPF work with the women on the ground, all the way up to the UN. We are the women on the ground. We are the women in the UN. It was never the military-industrial complex, that known fester of self-perpetuation does exist, but it has always been, from dynastic empires to the multinational firms, the militarized industrial complex. The military embody and enact the threat of the use of force. I don't know where that's coming from. Sorry. The military embody and enact the threat of the use of force, ensuring ease of instruction. It is rape, it is pillage, either by law or by looting. It always has been. There is no such thing as a regime change war, that political slogan sleight of hand. There is only war, Regime change happens first in a constantly coercive political violation, economic harassment, corrupt deal-making, with monopolising threat, and then upon unmet desires, straightforward conquer and puppet placement. China and Russia are sending troops, weapons and ships to exacerbate the footprints and melting in the Arctic, to extend the northern shipping route alternatives and offset each other's presence, each concerned the melting will change sovereign borders. We know the military has a huge carbon footprint, as well as deeply physical, emotional and violating harm on woman, man, child and planet. Nuclear weapons carry a huge risk, disproportionately harming women due to radiation, and testing sent carbon-14 as deep as the Mariana Trench. 2/3 of US military bases are flooding, but more than this, they are hurting their own investments and they don't even know it. That's where you come in. Hubris has an upside. One of our most immediate and impactful campaigns is Move the Money, a divestment strategy, and it works. It's something you can be part of. If your banks or pensions are investing in things which have invested in ethically or legally questionable material, better yet, a financial growth end life, for example coal, they are violating their fiduciary responsibility. You can take your money out or even sue, and they cannot survive loss of clientele or even loss of confidence. A run on the bank or people walking out would evaporate them, and that is power, both financially and politically. In the global ecology, there is no alone. Your actions have impact. Together, as the WILPF resolutions of 1915 understood, the power of women together as a global force understood, there is no alone. So listen to the detailed information upcoming and be moved. Move your feet, move a mountain, but for goodness sake, move the money. Thank you.